at,
Okay.
and it looks like it's going. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We are really excited about this, and as much as we were unsure of what we're doing, I think we're ready to go now. And like I said, we're really excited about this, and so we're happy to share it with you. So I'm Candy,
Hi, I'm Jenny.
and we're going to talk a little bit tonight about our own personal stories within Shaklee and within our groups and our teams. A little bit about Shaklee and the history, where we're coming from, what Shaklee is all about, and a little bit about the products. We're also going to spend some time talking about the business because me and Jenny are really, really passionate about the business. It has made a very dramatic change in our lives over the past couple of years. So that's a big part of what we would like to share with everybody. And then we're just going to kind of wrap it up at the end with different ways of joining and how to do that and kind of what the next step would be for you. So again, welcome. Thank you. We're going to stick around afterwards. So if anybody has any questions, assuming we figure out how to look at the questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. So without further ado, let's begin. So this first picture that I'm going to show you is a picture of our big team. So this is Project Dream. And, you know, me and Jenny are on one team, and it's a team within this bigger team, and then Jenny has a team within that team. And so it's this is a picture of us at our global conference last year. And Bonnie is in the front middle. She's got the blonde hair with the green dress on, and she is the founder of Project Dream. And this is her growing team all behind her. And me and Jenny are a part of that team. So when we talk about our teams, it is a bunch of people. There's obviously a lot of women, but we've got men involved too. And we all work together. We each have our own individual business, but we collaborate, we bounce ideas off each other, we learn from each other, we support each other, and it's a pretty great group to be a part of. And so we're here tonight representing Project Dream and then our individual teams within that team. So I already introduced myself, but my name is Candy. And right now I am a senior director within Shaklee. And it's funny because I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. But my actual story starts 3 years ago when my friend reached out to me and asked if I was interested in learning more about Shaklee. And I said no. I said, no thanks. At that point, it was not on my radar at all. It was never something I thought I'd be interested in doing. And I had my life, I had my job, and it just, like I said, wasn't on my radar. And fast forward a few months from that point, and I had kind of an aha moment when we met with our financial advisor. And she looked at my husband and she said, so you're probably going to work until you're about 62. Does that sound right? And he said yes, and kind of nodded his head. And then she looked at me and she goes, and you till you're about 58? And I was like, wait, what now? What's happening? And I don't know what it was about that moment and the way she asked me and looked at me, but all of a sudden it just hit me. And it was like, whoa, am I going to do this? Like, I'm going to go to that job every single day until I'm 58 and then retire with just like a little bit of money. That's just what I'm here on this planet to do. And when I was younger, I always thought I was going to accomplish great things and be creative and innovative and powerful. And then all of a sudden, I just started going to work every day and coming home and going to bed because I was tired. And I don't know, in that moment, I knew I had to do something. And so I reached out to Amanda and I said, I'm ready. I'm diving in. Like I didn't know much about direct selling. I knew what I didn't want. And I knew that Shaklee fit into what I was passionate about. But other than that, I just kind of trusted what she said. And I just, like I said, I jumped in. And then out loud, talking to friends and family and my husband, I was like, well, we'll see how this goes. And maybe down the road, that'll be like a gym membership payment for me or something like that. But really, I was playing it small out loud. But in my head, in my heart, and in my gut, I was like, I can do this. I can totally do this. I'm going to crush this. And I just, as much as, the doubter voice kind of comes up, I just had that gnawing, you can do this voice in my head. And so I just kind of ran with it. And now it's been 2 years. I my first big goal was director, and I got to go to the new directors conference in California, which is an all expenses paid trip, and I got to bring my husband, which was awesome, and he got to kind of hear it, and then all of a sudden he was on board with me and supportive, and I got to speak on stage at a regional conference. There was like 1,200 people there. It was nerve-wracking but exciting, and now I've got a team of 14, and I love them all, every single one of them. And I don't know, I finally feel like I'm using a part of my brain and my heart that wasn't before. And I just can't say how happy I am, and I'm feeling the freedom, and it's been all about that from the beginning for me. And so I'm just really, I can't say enough. I feel like I'm going to start crying if I keep talking, so I'll switch to Jenny. So Jenny is one of my favorite people in the entire world, and we get each other in a way that's almost scary. Last night we said the stupidest joke at the exact same time, and laughed about it all day. And she, from the very beginning, was somebody who I was like, oh, she gets it. She can totally do this. And I've just had so much fun watching her do it in a completely different way than I've been doing it, but in her own way. And she's just, killing it. No big deal.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Jenny, and my Shaklee story started back in the fall of 2014 when we were introduced to the petri dish that is preschool. My son only went 2 days a week for preschool, but by winter time he was only averaging about 50% attendance, if not even worse than that. And so he'd go to school, he'd come home, he'd get sick, then the baby would get sick, then I would get sick, and he'd miss a day, and then he'd eventually make it back, and the cycle just kept repeating that way. And we have an added little glitch of my husband has MS, so when bugs come into the house, we have to be really careful to keep him sort of away from us. My daughter was about 8 months old at the time, so that left me caring for a sick baby, a sick toddler, and then inevitably a sick self. And in January of 2015, we were unsuccessful in his quarantine, and he ended up getting a sinus infection, which landed him in for a week-long hospital stay. So then I had to navigate everybody being sick and getting back and forth to the hospital and childcare for my little ones. And it was a really, really rough time. And I kind of felt like I was dying. So much so that I actually posted on Facebook looking for help from anybody who might have suggestions on how to keep the kids healthy. I just couldn't believe that we're healthy people and that they just kept getting sick. So luckily my guardian angel came through my computer screen, and that's Candy, and she sent me a message and said, hey, for what it's worth, like, I'm really sorry you're going through this hard time, but here are the vitamins my kids are on, and I recommend a probiotic as well, and hey, also, have you maybe considered, in addition to trying to get your kids healthy, that you might want to examine something that might improve your health as well? And we keep joking about how funny it is, because at the time it truly hadn't even occurred to me. I was running myself into the ground taking care of literally everybody else, but it didn't occur to me to be like, hey, is there something for me too? And so anyway, she recommended that I try the Vitalizer, sweet Vitalizer. And by the end of that month, I felt like I was emerging from a fog that I truly did not even know the depths of which I was in. It was pretty amazing. So we started kind of writing about my experiences and being home, and I started connecting with some women, and that sort of became the root for Mother's Little Helpers, which is my website that I've started, and I'll be providing some services for women and moms. And it's funny, on the screen it says vitamins are for witches, because my mom's a dietitian. I grew up thinking that if you ate healthy, there was, vitamins were for people who, brewed tinctures and were crazy. And so I had zero expectations for the vitamins, let alone the idea that I would eventually be so blown away with how different I felt that I would want to share this with literally anybody who is willing to listen. So you can see there, and since that time, I have started Mother's Little Helpers. I've promoted to director. I've become the city clerk of the town in which I live, and I co-founded and serve as the vice president of the DeKalb Area Arts Council. And to think back a year to where I was, which was starting every morning just wondering how I was going to make it till bedtime, to now doing all of these things and loving every day and experiencing every day in such a way. I can't believe that that person was me just a year ago. So that is how big of a difference these products have made for me, and I know they can do the same for you. So thanks for listening.
Oh, that gave me all the feels. Okay, so that's a picture of me and Jenny together at that regional conference in November. And so I know it's a little dorky that we called it Dynamic Duo, but you know how hard it is to name a story about yourself? It's hard, and it's hard not to be goofy, especially because we were working on it last night, half asleep and not functioning. So, all right, so I'm going to have Jenny tell our friendship story because she's the part of this relationship that remembers details of things.
Well, Candy and I met when we were in kindergarten. We went K through 8 together, and actually were on the volleyball team together, and we went to sports camps together, and you know, we're very friendly growing up. And then I went on to a different high school, and really, other than sort of random run-ins, maybe once or twice, from the day we graduated 8th grade, we really did not have a conversation until our late 20s. So we went almost 15, 20 years without really interacting at all, which is crazy now because we talk usually multiple times a day.
Yeah, and to think that we just picked up like exactly where we left off, like it was no big deal. And so the reason we're saying this is not because me and Jenny like talking about ourselves. We do, but that's not the reason we're sharing it with you. But it's because it's a recurring theme. It is something that just keeps happening over and over again, and so it needs to be acknowledged, which is this is bringing people together, people that I would never in a million years expected to. Becca, who's on our team, is a girl that my mom used to babysit when we were kids, and we went to the pool together during the summertime. Like, I would have never expected to be in business with her 20 years later. Like, it's bizarre how it keeps happening that way. And it's such an awesome experience. But also because we are very similar in a lot of ways, especially if you listen to the way we talk and communicate, but we're so different in the way that we've been approaching this business, how we got into this business. But here we are doing practically the same things, just in very different ways with the same goals, but different approaches on how to get there. And a good example of that is how we are both looking for freedom, but my freedom was working less, getting away from that, and trying to find a way to get home. And Jenny?
Mine was more, being home with my children and feeling sort of a vacancy or a void of the professional part of me, and I really missed using part of my brain that you just don't really utilize when you're home with your kids, especially when they're really little. And I really missed, bathroom breaks, and I was looking for something that belonged to me that wouldn't eventually be covered in, little baby fingerprints. So.
And it's funny because even though I was at work every day and using my brain in that way, I had nowhere to go in my job. I mean, my job was just my job, and that was going to always be my job. And I was good at it, but I didn't need to think about it. I didn't need to be creative. I didn't need to problem solve. I didn't need to write, which is a big part of me. So I was looking for freedom. She was looking for freedom. And we both decided to do this business. And when I did it, I dove in. I hadn't tried a product. I just trusted Amanda because I trusted her. And I started just talking to people about it from day one, even though I knew almost nothing and I didn't know, but I was excited. And that was like my approach to it. And then Jenny, exact opposite.
Yeah, I was just looking for a way to make it through the day, and I did not have starting a business on my, that was nowhere in my plan. But having experienced the benefit myself, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to tell everybody about this, and I want to help people feel the way I feel now. So
And you
that
did,
is how I.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. And then you did all of the like behind the scenes groundwork. Like you built it from like, okay, this is how I'm going to approach it from like such a systematic and like smart, organized way. And I was like, woo, let's see what happens. And then now I'm going back and doing some of that groundwork. And now you're doing some of the stuff. So it's just the point of all of this, again, not to talk about ourselves. It's just that you can do it however you want to do it. The freedom that we're looking for that we have now is going to be the same opportunity for you. You can find your own freedom. You can find your own right way of doing this. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. It's just, that's the beauty of it. It is, the information is there, the resources are there, but it's you and how you want to do it, and you can do it however, works for you.
Absolutely.
And then, okay, so this is Project Freedom. So this is my group within Project Dream. And then Jenny's little group within my group is Mother's Little Helpers. And so we're all from different backgrounds. I kind of listed it here in the bullet point. We've got health specialists, massage therapists, lawyers, registered dietitians, postpartum doulas. I mean, you name it, we are representing that area. And the reason we're pointing that out is because we're all so different. We've all come from different backgrounds. We all have different experience in life. And yet here we all are doing the same type of work. We're doing it together. We're collaborating. We're growing. And creating these friendships and these relationships that are just so amazing and deeply rooted, and we're really excited about it. And this last little point I wanted to make about it is that we're trying to create a business that comes from leading with love, and a team that comes from leading with love. And there's a lot of books out there about how to do this business, and how to grow fast, and how to be aggressive in your marketing and all of that. And me and Jenny have both agreed from the very, very beginning that if we're going to do this, we're going to do it in our way, on our terms, from the heart. And that might mean that we do things a little bit slower than others, but that we're totally on board and okay with that. As long as it's something that we believe in and can hold on to our beliefs and our integrity, then we are happy with our direction.
Yes, ma'am.
Amen. So that is our personal experience with Shaklee. So now we want to talk a little bit about Shaklee itself and what the company is about, and a little bit about the history and tradition. So that picture, the first one, is of Dr. Shaklee. He was the founder of Shaklee. He created the first multivitamin in the U.S., and he founded Shaklee on living in harmony with nature. That was his number one priority, that and the golden rule of like do unto others. And everything that has come from that first vitalized mineral has been on that foundation of in harmony with nature. And so we've been in business for 60 years. We've got all this great, with this reputation, this history, that you can't find any kind of controversy if you look back on our 60 years. And then you look over the other picture, which is of Roger Barnett, who is our current CEO, and you see the word visionary, which he totally is. He has come on board with all that same foundation, all those same beliefs, but with this new exciting energy, this new brilliance for business. We've grown a lot in the last 10 or so years. I can't forget how long ago he bought the company. And so we've got this great history. If you ask anybody, it's like, oh, my grandma used Shaklee. You combine that and that reputation with the new excitement and the new growth and the new opportunity, and it's just like such an amazing time to be a part of Shaklee. We're going in a new direction, but without losing our foundation. So it's a really cool place to be.
Yeah, and I think it's also really neat that Roger Barnett's experience with Shaklee mirrors that of a lot of distributors in the company, myself included, that he, had within his family some specific health issues that needed to be addressed, was led to these products, and they not only helped, but he fell completely in love with them. And while I bought a $350 distributor's package to share that message. He went ahead and just bought the whole company. So basically, I'm just like Roger Burnett is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, why didn't you just buy the company, Jenny?
I was gonna, but I didn't have a couple $1 billion.
Oh,
So,
right.
but luckily he did.
Right. This is a picture of our Shaklee corporate office. It's beautiful. And when I talk about being in harmony with nature, if we had more time, I would go into this building and how incredible it is. But every single part of its design is designed in a way to save energy and resources and repurpose. And it is just an incredible modern piece of art. It's just nuts. And then,
And
oh my God.
no, you go.
I was just going to say, you wanted to talk about your experience with like the corporate office.
Oh yeah,
distributor.
right. I think what's so neat about this company is, direct sales obviously is a giant industry, but what sets Shaklee apart a little bit from the way other companies operate is that rather than building on the backs of the distributors itself, Shaklee has such a healthy and robust corporate culture that then exchanges with the distributors. And whether it's in certain Facebook groups that you become a part of when you hit a certain leadership level, and randomly you'll see one of the VPs commenting on something you've said, or directly answering somebody's question, or in Candy's case, when you got to have lunch with Roger Barnett himself.
Yeah, so me and Raj sat down. But no, so we were at the New Directors Conference in California, and he really feels strongly and he's very supportive of the Shaklee Moms group. So it's, if you're a director above in the company and you're invited to be a part of this group, he is very passionate about supporting that like demographic within the company. He thinks that us like young mothers are kind of the future of where he's trying to go with this company. So he brought us in for lunch, and I literally, thanks to, it was either Amanda or Bonnie, I'm not sure which one, pulled a chair out and like forced my butt into the chair right next to Roger. And we had lunch together. There was like 15 of us in the room, and he sat down and he's like, I want you guys to tell me, how can we support you? What can we do for you out in the field, doing your thing? What do we need to do better? What can we learn from you? And he was sincere and genuine about it, and he really wanted to know. And we told him, and we gave him ideas, and he is implementing them. And it's just, they get it. They get that we're the ones that are doing the legwork. And so they realize that their job is to support us the best they can, and that's the best thing for the company. And it's really refreshing.
Is that when you started calling him Raj?
Yeah, that's when we go back and forth. I was just texting him about 3 minutes ago, telling him that we're on. So this slide is, it's a lot of numbers and a lot of information, and we're not going to go through it all, but we wanted to include it because even though we had both gotten into Shaklee for different reasons with different motivations, this is kind of the stuff that solidified it for us. This is like what really sold us, is when we saw the science behind what we're doing and what goes into these products. And it really is just amazing. I got a chance to tour the lab and talk to the scientists and just the things that they go through for these products. So when we say it's always safe and it always works, I mean, they are really doing their due diligence. It's a hard word to say.
Well, and one of the things about the industry that we're in is that it is largely unregulated. Certainly unregulated by the Food and Drug Administration. And so for a company to sort of arbitrarily submit itself to the rigor of testing that is typically reserved for the pharmaceutical industry or the industry for other consumables, despite the fact that it significantly reduces profit margin, is pretty incredible because it's the right thing to do. And I found that remarkably impressive and continues to impress me.
Yeah, and again, if we had more time, some of the stories we could tell you about what they've gone through to make sure things are safe and clean. It's just amazing. Okay, so this slide shows kind of a snapshot of the different types of products that we have. There's a ton of stuff that we could talk about, and again, we just don't have time for it, but we want to just kind of introduce you to the types of things that we offer and encourage you to either one, stick around afterwards and ask us whatever questions you have, or two, talk to whoever invited you here to this webinar, and they'd be more than happy to go through, listen to your concerns, whatever you have going on in your life, and then help you figure out a plan that is right for you. There is not a one-size-fits-all. There are random products here and there that I would have never thought in a million years that I wanted or needed, and now are some of my favorites. So like I said, this is just kind of a snapshot of the different things that are available through Shaklee. This is a picture of our life plan. So this is actually pretty exciting because they just launched this past year. They announced it at our global conference, and we had similar products before, but then they brought these out and it was just like the next level. So we've always had protein shakes, but this new life shake is, I mean, it's really impressive. It has non-GMO, very clean plant-based protein. It's got added leucine, which helps you preserve your muscle. It's got the pre and probiotics built into it, and they use a special spore-forming probiotic to guarantee that it actually gets to your gut where it needs to be. It's got added omega-3, which we all need more of. I shouldn't say we all need, most of us need more. Gluten-free, lactose-free, non-GMO, kosher, low glycemic. It's really, really amazing. And then the Life Strip is kind of like your one-stop shop for vitamins. It has everything that you would ever need in one day, along with Vivix, which it'd be very hard to explain because it's so amazing, but it's for cell repair, and it's kind of like our anti-aging from the inside pill. If you want more information on Vivix, we'd be more than happy to provide it for you because there's a lot we could say, and a lot about the science, and it's really exciting. But my favorite part about all of this is that I am actually allowed to say this is the best, most comprehensive nutritional system in the world that has actually been cleared by our legal department. People throw around the word best all the time, but we can actually say it, and we've gotten permission.
That's kind of a big deal in an industry that, you know, you open yourself up for a lot of scrutiny for making claims like that. And so for that to be, you know, supported by the comparative analysis studies that they do between products is a really big deal. And on top of that, it's super yummy. So don't forget that.
It is delicious. It's like drinking a milkshake, and my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Okay. Next slide. So this is, again, it's a snapshot of our landmark study, which, long story short, we studied long-term Shaklee users over time compared to a control healthy population, and we tested their blood. And a lot of these numbers aren't, you know, impressive, but the one that stands out to me is the 59% lower levels of C-reactive protein. It's only, you know, one test, but it is a test of inflammation in the body. And I am not a doctor. My personal opinion on inflammation is that systemic inflammation is what causes disease. And anything that can show me that we've got these numbers are that much better on Shaklee users, I'm sold. Even if it's all in my head and not real, like that to me is worth it. Like, I don't know, that is the warm, comfy blanket that I need to remember about taking these vitamins.
And stay tuned on the follow-up to the landmark study that they're doing, which is now the anniversary of the initial study, that now they have 20 years out, data for 20-year plus users, and we're really looking forward to see how those numbers come back.
Yeah, it's exciting that we've got people using these products for so long that we can actually do these studies. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so this slide shows the weight loss products. This is our Shaklee 180 program. It is kind of like the big kahuna of the weight loss stuff. So we've got, you know, different products for different things, but this is like the kit they put together specifically for weight loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so everything that you see comes in what's called the turnaround kit, but you can just get the shakes separately. And what I love about the shakes is that I love that they're called the Life Shake because it truly fits into your life regardless of what your particular goals are. So even if you are not concerned or actively attempting to lose weight, sometimes with our busy lives, it's very difficult to ensure that you're getting a meal that has all of your nutritional needs, that meets all of your nutritional needs. So this, for me, there are times, being with two little kids, there were many times before I started using the Life Shake that I would not get a meal and then would be like a crazy starving monster that would go off the rails by the end of the night. And this keeps me on track and sustains my energy, and makes sure that even if I don't have time to sit down and eat, that I'm making sure my body is fueled with really good things. I also love that when my kids inevitably come up and want some of my quote-unquote milkshake as well, that I have no problem handing it to them, because there's no artificial sugar, there's no weird additives, there's no colors or dyes or anything like that. So I'm more than happy to share. And in addition to that, a really impressive component is that for people who were losing weight on this product, typically for every about 10 pounds we lose, we tend to lose about a pound to 2 pounds of muscle. And with this product, not only did people who were losing weight, not only did they sustain their muscle mass, but they actually increased their lean muscle mass while using this product. So while they had lost 10 pounds of fat, they had actually increased muscle. So the transformations that their bodies were undergoing was even more remarkable than you would expect with a weight loss product. So,
and the picture you see on the side, that's Stacy. And I love that when we talk about Shaklee things and we see these pictures of people in the catalogs and stuff. This is a real person. This is Stacy. I know Stacy. We went to New Directors Conference together, and I met her, and she's probably the sweetest person I've ever known. And she was a young mom with very young kids at home and sick, like really sick, like, I know I'm saying like a lot, but she was going to a bunch of different doctors. Nobody could quite put their finger on what was wrong with her. They're like, I don't know if it's autoimmune, or here, try this, and they on and off all these different medications, and nothing ever helped. And she reached out to a friend, and they said, well, try this. It's worth a shot. And she started taking Vitalizer, immediately started feeling better. Over time, was off all of her medications. She did the 180 kit, lost the weight, as you can see from the picture. And when I met her at New Directors Conference, she was really excited to be there, but you could tell there was something, she just didn't quite feel right. And she was starting to really get nervous about whether or not her illness was going to come back. And she was like, is this all just been in my head? Am I getting sick again? Well, it turns out she wasn't sick. She was pregnant. And her doctors had pretty much said, you're not having another baby. Like, with all your health concerns, your body's not going to let you get pregnant and sustain a pregnancy. So she had completely given up the hope of it. And she, found out she was pregnant. She she just had her baby, and one of her little kids just went up to her the other day and was like, I'm so happy that you're not sick anymore, Mom. And it just, every time I tell that story, I start crying. Sorry, but it makes me so happy, because she's just the sweetest person. Okay, shake it off. All right. So this is our beauty line, and I talk about this a lot because even before I started Shaklee, I was really careful about what I put into my body, what I put in my mouth to eat. I was very, very careful about. But I would buy whatever cheap junk from the grocery store I could and put it on my skin or my head or my face. It was not something I thought about or was concerned about. I didn't have, issues with my skin or acne or anything like that. So to me, it was fine. And then learning a little bit more about these products, I started to realize, wow, I guess there is some really weird stuff out there, and the skin is very important.
Absolutely. And I think it's really neat that that we have a product line that allows you to look on the outside the way that you feel on the inside once you start feeling better. And another thing I don't see, it's not in the picture, but tonight I actually used for the first time the hair care line, and I feel like a total sucker for not having used it sooner, because it smells so good and it's so silky and nice. And so that we definitely have hair care products as well.
My sister, she is a distributor for Shaklee now too. And when I first started, she was just being polite. Like, okay, I'll support my sister. All right, give me some vitamins, whatever. And she was very pleasantly surprised with the vitamins because she started to feel better. And she's like, okay, well, give me something else to try. And I gave her this firming serum, or actually she asked me about it. I'm like, order it, see how it goes. If you don't like it, you can return it. And so she tried the firming serum, and she called me like the next day, and she was like, okay, how do I become a distributor because I can sell this stuff? Because she was just she was so blown away with like how immediate the results were, and she calls it her magic beauty juice. And so now pretty much everybody on Project Freedom and Mothers Little Helpers calls it magic beauty juice, and we
Yep.
have samples of it wherever we go, and we keep trying, like, here, put this on your face. It's really, really good. Okay, so this is the cleaning line, and it's really amazing because I thought that if I was going to switch, I was going to be making a sacrifice. Like, okay, it's better for my family, so I'll do it, but it's not going to be as good. And I am happy to say that I was wrong.
Yeah, it's really, really good stuff. I was using like vinegar and orange peels on my floor, and I had this sort of like aha moment when my son was little. He was crawling, and his bink fell out of his mouth onto the ground, and he just, of course, picked it up and put it right back in his mouth. And I just was like, what am I doing? I hated having to always have a giant jug of vinegar with orange peels in it, and if you ran out, your house just smelled like straight up vinegar, and I wasn't a huge fan. So it's really nice having products that you know are safe for the kids, safe for animals, and not, like you said, none of that would matter if you didn't get your stuff clean. So that is really important as well. It actually works better. In fact, the laundry, the Nature Bright that you see with the little puppy on it, was the only product that worked with my daughters. We have really hard water, and we did cloth diapers with her, and it's just impossible to get the ammonia smell out when you have really hard water, and Nature Bright was the only thing that worked.
I love Nature Bright.
Sorry, what?
I just said I love Nature Bright, just agreeing.
Everybody loves Nature Bright. And then the other thing that I really love is that the CDC actually has listed the accidental ingestion of household cleaners and products as one of the leading causes of accidental injury for children. And they recommend swapping out less toxic or ideally non-toxic products for the ones that people traditionally have in their homes, like bleach, that are actually very, very dangerous, especially for children who have a natural inclination for curiosity and tend to explore the world with their hands and their mouths. And so I can't even tell you the peace of mind that you have knowing that these things happen so quickly, and knowing that even if they were able to get a hold of something, that they wouldn't get hurt. And on top of that, you can absolutely employ you can break some childhood labor laws by putting the kids to work, because there's no excuse not to let them spray down a table and learn how to wipe up after themselves, because you know it's safe.
Also, this was like the gateway of Roger Barnett, to buy the company, because he had a son that was having these like really scary asthma attacks. And so he first found out about Shaklee through the cleaners, and because they wanted to switch out their chemical cleaners. And so they loved the product so much that it caught his eye, and then, he bought the company. And
Yeah.
Oprah,
Anyone on Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah, and it was on her favorite things episode, so it's good, because I just do whatever Oprah says. All right, so we wanted to include this picture because we felt like this could totally be us and our team. The girl holding the camera, that would be Susie. Hi, Susie. But it'd be a cell phone probably, and then I'd probably grab it and need to approve that my chin was in the right position, and then we would be having cocktails in those glasses and talking about our lives. And it's shocking and amazing and wonderful how much of our work life is sitting around talking with women and having fun. Like, I know it doesn't seem possible or real, but it totally, totally is.
And in addition to all the fun that we have, and we do have a lot of it, it is also amazing how once you create a safe space with the intention of really hearing and seeing somebody, especially that I think that a lot of moms struggle with feeling like they identify so strongly as moms or as wives that they forget to take time to check back in with themselves and be, you. And so when you're with women and you're having this fun, it's amazing when you create a safe space for sharing and for working on yourself, the stories that you hear and the remarkable gift it is to have these women in your life. It truly is life-changing. And so it might look like fun and games, but it also is remarkably moving.
Yeah. Oh, couldn't have said it better. This slide shows it's a good visual of how you can combine that last picture with income opportunity, because we are here for both, obviously, and it is a big industry with a lot of potential for growth. And so this is the kind of money we're talking, and those little plus signs, it means we're growing, and it's a big industry, and there's a lot of room for a lot of people to be involved and to do good things within it. And to think that we're so diversified with, weight loss, cleaners, beauty, everything all together. I mean, we have something for everybody, and that's good for business, but it's also good for those of you who want to really help people, because no matter what their concern is, I feel like we have at least part of a solution for them. And that is just a really good place to be in this, if you're trying
That's also, oops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's also, I think, something that really sets Shaklee apart. If you read Forbes or Money Market or any of those magazines that have shined a spotlight on the direct sales or home-based business market, it's a giant industry. And there are a lot of companies out there, but most of them fall within one of these colored leaves, and they're only part of that slice of pie. Whereas Shaklee, if you look, is such, like Candy said, has such diversified offerings that even within a giant industry, for it to be a leader among these other titans speaks very highly of not only the quality of the products, but the integrity of the company as well.
And now I could really go for a piece of pie. Okay, so these next few slides, we're going to kind of go through them quickly, because in our minds, it's like if you are interested and you want to be involved, we can go over all of this with you in way more detail, answer all of your questions, but we're just going to kind of approach it and introduce it. So when you sign up to join as a distributor, this is kind of where you start. You're called a distributor. It's the first step in Shaklee. You start to earn money back on the products that you're buying. Cover the cost of your products, maybe a little bit of extra spending money in the beginning, but really it's like laying the foundation. The cool thing about this step is that we all start at this step, every single person in Shaklee. So whether you're a master coordinator or a senior director or whatever, you all kind of came in this very beginning, and you at this point have the freedom to decide how you want to grow. You can grow really, really quickly. You can grow slowly if that's what you want to do and that's more comfortable for you. It is completely up to you. We know people that have come in and hit the next level in their first 30 days. They've gotten their money return on investment right away and just exploded. But those people come in and they're serious from the get-go and they work. And then other people kind of dip their toe in the water for a little while. And there's no right way. There's no pressure. Everybody can do it however they want. But this is kind of the starting point. And then the next step is director, and that's kind of like your first big goal when you join, and that's where Jenny is right now.
Yeah, I am. I just promoted in February, and this is where you are considered a business leader and have sort of grown a little bit of a team underneath you, and have the ability to earn the first real bonus rewards in the company. I am working toward that little second dot, which is to earn the new directors conference, which is where they fly you out to California. And I too hope to be lunching with Raj. And it's just a really exciting first step, and sort of where you start to see some of your work paying off for yourself.
Totally. And it's a big deal. Like, it's not easy to get there, because you need to go through the process. You need to learn. And, you work and you get there and it's so exciting, and Jenny's going to be recognized on stage at our next global conference because of that. She achieved that step. So it's a big deal. It's awesome. So right now I'm a senior director. My next step would be coordinator, which is what I'm working for now. And the only reason we've been pausing to talk about this slide is because when I first went to my first meeting, there were people being recognized for earning trips and their car bonuses and things like that. And I remember sitting there thinking, well, that's for those people, those special people who are like, well, I'm never going to be one of those people. Not like that was negative, but it was like, I just didn't think of myself as somebody who's going to be able to achieve that. And here I am. It's been 2 years. I'm not special. And I've just been working like consistently towards my goals for 2 years. And now all of a sudden I'm there and it's a reality. And I'm probably a month or two away from my car bonus. And my goal for next year is to go on that trip. So it's funny how in the beginning it was almost a turn off when people started talking about trips. Like, okay, yeah, exotic vacations, sure. And now it's like a realistic thing. So it's just funny how as you move and as you grow, things that didn't seem possible become a reality. Executive coordinator is another step. This is just here to kind of show you, milestones along the way. Master coordinators, like your ultimate goal. That's when you really made it and things really get exciting. You really start seeing the money. Some people get there in 3 years. Some people get there in 17. It's just all about how fast you go and how much time and effort you're willing to put into the business. This is just a graph that kind of shows you all the different positions because we skipped over a lot of them. What the average income looks like at each level, that's that blue line in the middle, where some of the incentives kick in and that sort of thing. So, and I can say that it is accurate. That has been my experience is these numbers and those incentive trips and things like that. So, again, if you want any more information on this, we'd be more than happy to send this to you, break it down for you, create a timeline for you, all of that. But for our purposes right now, that's probably good enough. This is our elephant slide. Hi, I'm an elephant and I'm in a room. Because we're talking about network marketing and people have a lot of opinions on network marketing and what it is. And we were there too when I first started doing this. It's funny because it seems crazy to me now, but I very vividly remember thinking, well, I have a college degree, I have a career, and now what are people going to think of me when I start doing this? And it was like a real concern to me, but it's funny how the more I do it, the more I learn, the more I work, the more, one, I couldn't care less what those people think. If they're judging me, they're judging me, whatever. That's their problem, not mine. But also, I am at the point now where I feel like this is the smartest business plan there is, and I can't believe that everybody doesn't do it. Like, why would anybody work a normal job? No offense to those of you that do, but I don't know. Like, it just seems like I completely transformed in my way of thinking about this business over the last 2 years. And I know Jenny has can very much agree with that.
Yes, absolutely. Ditto.
What was your initial thoughts? Because I know you didn't intend to do this.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, I thought, I think everybody has had an experience at a party or, jewelry, candle. I mean, you name it, and it's a fun thing to do. But you have it in your mind that it's unsustainable. Having a party every week, or what am I going to have to start cold calling people? Am I going to have to go door to door? I think that it was not something that I ever considered being a part of, and I thought, it was a big leap for me to consider starting this business for all the reasons that you said, and I agree with you. The longer I'm in this, the more I realize that this business plan in particular, compared to some others that I've investigated, it's very, very smart. It is built entirely on the premise that in order to succeed, you have to cultivate not only yourself and your business, but then you have to reach down and pull people up from the ranks, but the people beneath you, and pull them up with you. you can't, you hit certain points where you will not move forward unless you help advance somebody else. And that to me is just a really tangible representation of the overall feel of what we do.
Yeah, and we now, I think a part of the reason why we're both so comfortable in it now versus the way we thought about it in the beginning is because, like I mentioned before, we're trying to lead with love. We're trying to grow this business on a basis of helping people, whether it's helping customers or helping business partners. But it is this like, I don't know, community feel of like-minded, supportive women and men. We have a man on our team now, and I'm super excited about it. But yeah, it's kind of going along with what makes you happy and fills up your soul with joy, and sticking to the things that you are that you find important in your life. And so when you combine the whole leading with love and the ability to just like work that little tail off, you can really create these great things. And it can be a serious business. It doesn't have to be a hobby. It can be a real thing and something we're both really proud of. So
Absolutely.
word to your mother. Speaking of your mother, I think she's on, isn't she? Hi, Sue.
My mom?
Yeah. Is her name Susan, right?
I hope so. Yeah. Is
Hi,
she here?
Missy.
Hi,
Word to your
mom.
mother. All right. So, how do you see yourself fitting in? So if this is something that you would be interested in, there's a lot of different ways to kind of come into this. So there are people that come in as a member like Jenny did. There are people that jump right in and become a distributor right off the bat. And it doesn't matter. You are totally free to do whatever you want and whatever is comfortable for you. You can even not become a member and just try one product if you want. There's a lot of options. And again, we can't possibly cover it all, but if you are interested in any particular thing, talk to it with either us afterwards or the person that invited you to this webinar, because they'd be more than happy to break it all down for you, costs, benefits, et cetera, et cetera. But for our purposes tonight, we'll cover the different gold packs, which when you sign up with a gold pack, that means you're a distributor and you're looking to use the products and build a business. And me and Jenny, as we were looking at these earlier, we were like, wouldn't it be nice if we could get these prices again and buy another gold pack? Because they offer so much in the pack, and each one of them is a high enough PV for you to earn a paycheck even that first month. And PV just means points. We're not going to get into all those details, but you get a crazy amount of product for the amount of money that you're spending, and you get a chance to earn money. So it's a good way to start. So there's different levels of packs for different prices. Obviously, as the price goes up, you get more points, more value, kind of money coming back to you, but also you get more products to try. The Gold Plus pack, you get to try at least something from each line. So beauty, weight loss, cleaners, nutrition. There's lots of really cool stuff. I'm so excited they started involving some of the sports performance stuff into these packs, which is awesome. And then there's the Super Gold pack, and this really it's everything. I mean, it's such a good value. It's almost crazy. It also comes with the 2 free global conference registrations, and me and Jenny were just joking about this too, because it's like, oh yeah, if you want to, come with us to Orlando, no big deal.
Come on down.
It's gonna like.
And also, I'd point out too, not only is this just a phenomenal value product-wise, but if you take a step back and consider that you are starting a business and think about if you were going into a bank to secure a small business loan to start a brick and mortar store, the idea of being able to do that for $350 or even at this level, at the $1050 level, it's, it wouldn't happen. And so, and they certainly wouldn't give you anything in exchange for that other than a lot of papers to sign. So, it's a great product value, but it's also the fact that you're starting a business at that value.
And the whole reason Dr. Shaklee and then Roger kept this going is because they wanted it to be something that anybody could do. They didn't want it to be an opportunity for only people that already have money. They wanted it to be an opportunity for anybody. So anybody has the potential of joining at whatever level they're comfortable with, and everybody has that upside, that potential of making this whatever they want it to be. So it's kind of levels the playing field a little bit. Like if you are willing to work and you have ideas and goals and are, willing to put the effort in, you can invest a small amount of money, very low risk, because like Jenny pointed out, you don't have to have the liability and all that stuff. And there's unlimited potential. So I don't know. Seems kind of like a no-brainer. And then, okay, so this is the last slide. What we wanted to do just very briefly, because I know that we are right around the hour mark, which is hilarious because we're like, let's try and get to 40 minutes. So sorry, going a little long. I just wanted for us both to just say one quick thing about like an unexpected surprise, like benefit of doing this that you'd have never seen coming. So go ahead, Jenny, why don't you start?
I think for me, I've accomplished some things in my life, and I excelled at school. I graduated law school cum laude when my son was 11 months old. I've done some stuff that I'm proud of, but I've never felt proud of what I'm doing or what I've done the way that I feel proud every day with what I've made out of Shaklee and Mother's Little Helpers. And I never have felt the way about myself the way that I feel now. And it is a really remarkable feeling to become your own cheerleader and not be looking for somebody else to root you on because you're excited enough for what you're doing all on your own. And I think that is, that really has surprised me.
Oh, I love that so much. I think the thing that surprised me the most is that I joined this, for an opportunity, make a little bit of money, hopefully work a little bit less at an office and more out of my house. A chance for me to challenge myself and do new things. But what I did not expect is to absolutely fall in love with the experience, but also helping other women get that experience themselves. I don't want it to come across as like me being selfish in the beginning, but it really was. It was about me. It was about doing this for me. And then now all of a sudden it's like we had this party at my house a couple of weeks ago and a lot of people that are on my team were in the living room and sharing their stories. And there were so many aha moments and tears and hugs and emotions and people saying that their life has changed because of this. And to know that I had a small hand in that, it's like a drug and I want more of it. I want to feel that every day. I mean, it's just, I can't. So I never expected that passion to come from this opportunity.
Yeah. Ditto.
Hopefully that made sense because I feel like I say things like that and then I forget I don't even know what I said after I'm done talking, but I think I blacked out there for a second. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it really, really, really took me by surprise. So that is my surprise. And that is the end of our presentation. So as the slide says, please hold your applause. And we are going to hang out for a minute. So if we can figure out a way to...
Yeah, there's a button you can hit.
Is it question?
There's a little question. Yep. And everybody, this was my first foray into webinars and everything. This is my first business leader task, I guess. So thank you so much for letting me share my experience with you and for being my first webinar.
Oh, I finally see all you guys' comments.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, okay.
Yay.
Sorry that we didn't find that sooner. Hopefully, great first webinar, JJ.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Nina.
Thanks, Deb. Thanks. All right. So anyway, like I said, we're here. So if you got questions, do your thing. Go for it.
My cousin asks, what is my favorite product? That is easy. For me, hands down, it's the Vitalizer. The Vitalizer is it's a little strip of our vitamins. It's sort of like I call it the Big Mamba Jamba. I don't know, what would you call it, Candy?
I don't know.
Like
I
it's
can
like the
only I can
comprehensive.
only think of inappropriate things to say. So
It's like the all-purpose like multivitamin pack,
Mhm.
and it is the one that Candy recommended that I start when I was just so depressed and depleted and miserable. And that's the one. I'm hooked. That's my lady, and I'm sticking to her.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And it's funny because I almost feel like a broken record because whenever anybody says, well, what would you recommend for me? Unless they've got something very different going on, I almost always recommend Vitalizer, only because it has everything that everybody needs and most people aren't getting. So therefore,
Mhm.
it's like start here. And then if you still have issues, we'll go from there. But basically the body is really good at dealing with things on its own as long as it's getting the nutrients it needs. And Jenny was really depleted, and that's why I recommended it to her. She was nursing and they were all sick. And I was like, well, your daughter is so young, but she's going to get whatever you take. So why don't you take that? And then she's going to get some of that goodness from you. And it's amazing how your body immediately was like, oh yeah, yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah, and I really valued. I think leading with love is exactly what you did there, because I literally would have bought anything, and you were like, okay, we could go a million different directions, but why don't we start here
Yeah.
and see if we can't just get you a really good nutritional base, and then we'll see if we need to add stuff, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what you did. So
Jenny pretty much called me and she's like, here's my credit card, take all of my money, just make this
yeah,
better.
yeah, fix it. Oh, Denise says, yay. Sounds great. I'll take it. Yay, Denise. I think you'll really, really like it. Thank you.
Yeah, there's no downside really. Um,
Yeah.
and it's funny because when we were
It's got the
talking,
probiotic too.
yeah, when we were talking in the living room, as I was saying, like going around my room, everyone telling their story, I think it was like 5 out of 7 of us, our Shaklee journeys began with Vitalizer, which is just hilarious.
Mhm.
It's like once I took
Yep.
that, somebody loves us.
Amanda,
Oh,
we love
Amanda.
you too.
Hi, Amanda. We love you too. All right. If anyone has anything else, I'll wait another minute. We're just sipping our drinks and we're just probably relieved to be through it.
And this is the middle of the night for us.
Right.
We're early to bed people.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. This was really great.
And I am very thrilled right now because Jenny did so amazing, and I feel like a mama bird and very, very excited and happy and pleased. And I'm so glad we did it together because it's hard to hear one voice for an hour, and I think that it was fun doing it this way, and it was less nerve wracking.
Yes, yes. It is it is very nerve-wracking. I will say that. I just now stopped shaking, so
Perfect. I don't know
yeah.
what DFT. Do you know what that means? Do you see it?
Yes, I do. It's a family joke.
Okay. As long as
Don't
you.
forget to watch between your toes.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, Dee, I will call you tomorrow.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording
Okay.
and
Thanks, everybody.
and say good night.
Night
Bye.
night.